Alright guys, this is a continuation of 1-3.1, the isometric and orthographic drawing practice. In this video, I'm going to show you how to convert orthographic drawings like you see here into 3D isometric drawings. In this, you'll need your 30, 60, 90 triangle, a ruler, and maybe even a larger ruler, as well as an eraser. Alright, so before we can get started on drawing any of these, we do have to set up our drawing space. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is take a ruler, or you can even take the straight edge off of your, one of the straight edges on your 30, 60, 90 triangle, and you're gonna just put it somewhere on your page. And I'm just gonna, I don't know, just kind of put it right there. And I'm just going to draw a light line like that. Okay, I'm then going to do my best. I don't know if you guys can tell. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. Oops, too far. Okay, I'm just going to line up the line of the number 3 with the line that I drew. And as you guys can see, oops, I'm sorry. Okay, as you guys can see, through my ruler, here's the bottom edge of my line, and I'm just going to line up my 3-inch mark right there, make sure that it's nice and perpendicular, and I'm just going to hold down this with my the hand that doesn't hold the pencil. Okay, this is my 30, 60, 90 triangle, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to set up my lines. So I can bring my triangle and my ruler are meant to slide across each other like that. So I'm just going to bring it as far this way as I can, and I'm just going to draw my 30, 60, or my 30-degree line this way. I'm going to flip over my triangle like this, or I can flip over my triangle like this, and I'm going to line up where that intersection is. I'm going to go ahead and draw in, and you guys need to kind of figure out how to hold things with all your fingers, and I'm going to draw this in. So there, I have this is my Z, this is my X, and this is my Y, or my height, width, and depth. Okay, so this is our drawing space, and I know that it kind of took up a lot of space, but that's fine, and that I have my lines kind of extending way past, where we normally draw, but that's okay. This is how I want you guys to set up your drawings, and you'll learn as we get more and more into this how to properly space your stuff. Okay, so I'm going to put a dot right here. This represents 0, 0, 0. Or my origin. And you don't have to write that in, but I just want you guys to know. Alright, so here my drawing space is set up. And so let's look at the drawings. I think part number 1 is relatively simple, or it's actually really simple, it's just a few shapes that you have to draw. So I'm going to skip over that one, and I want to let's do part number 2. Okay, so we're going to do part number 2. So when we draw a regular orthographic, I always tell you to start in this bottom corner, right? Well, on isometrics, you're going to start in this bottom corner, because this bottom corner, this corner, and that corner all meet up on our 0, 0, 0. Okay, so that's where we're going to start. So in an orthographic, we start over here. In an isometric, we start over here. All right. So our front view, well, I'm going to label this front. And you guys can do this as well on your drawing. So that way it helps you visualize things. This is going to be the front view. Okay. So when we look at it and we see things, this will always be the front view. So I'm going to go ahead and start drawing my front view in. So just as we were drawing with the orthographic, each grid space is going to equal 1/4 of an inch. So the good thing about isometric drawing is that it is the most accurate description of or a dimensionally accurate description of an object because we see it at the right angles and the right views. All right, so it's 3 grid spaces tall, and I'm just going to draw a line that is 1, 2, 3, 3/4 of an inch tall. So I'm just going to line up my ruler with this bottom corner, and I'm just going to draw in a really dark line, like so. And this is representing this line here. Okay, now I'm going to measure, or I'm sorry, draw this bottom line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6/4 of an inch, so that would equal 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to line up my ruler where I'm at 1.5 inches, and I'm going to line that up and draw our bottom edge. Okay, simple, right? Right. And now we're just going to go line by line. So we've drawn this line. Actually, so we've drawn this line here. We've drawn this line here at the bottom. Now let's go ahead and draw this line, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 grid spaces tall. So the thing with our isometric drawings is that all of our lines that we draw have to be parallel with our original axis line, so our x, y, and our z. So I'm just going to take my ruler and I'm just going to line it up right here like we did before. I'm going to line up my 3 right there with our original y line, and I'm going to take my ruler, my 30, 60, 90 triangle, and I'm just going to flip it around and try and make it work for me. Okay, so I'm just going to do my best, and I'm just going to slide my ruler until I can get the marking on my triangle to match up with that line that I have right there. Okay, and this is going to be 1 inch tall. Okay, and I know this seems like a really kind of a lot, but it's going to help you. You're going to get the hang of it. If you don't like measuring like this, then you can do what I'm going to do right here, where I'm going to draw guidelines. So I'm going to draw a guideline here, and I'm going to bring it back like so. So I'm just going to move my ruler, bring this back, and I just drew a really a really light line. Okay, and then I'm going to use the markings on my triangle. The markings on my triangle okay, I can't use the markings on my triangle because you see right here this says number 10. That means that these are divided into 10 equal segments, so I can't use those markings, which sucks. So I'm just going to go back with my regular ruler and use what I can. Okay, so this is 1 grid space wide, so I'm just going to go and measure this right here and put a mark at 1/4 of an inch. All right, and then I'm just going to put some marks where everything else goes. Or actually, let's see, I'll just line up my ruler and do my very, 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 very best to make this close to parallel, which that was not even on the mark. Close to parallel. There we go. Okay. So from there down, I'm going to measure 1/2 inch. So let's see, from there down, 1/2 inch is right there. And then I'm going to line up my ruler like so, and just very carefully make sure that it is staying parallel. Draw a line like so, and then put my marking at, I'm right here, I'm on this line right here. Put my marking at 1/4 of an inch. Line up and try and make it parallel with that. And then measure for this right here, 1/4 of an inch down. Okay, so I'm going to bring my ruler back, line it up on that Y line, my 3 on that Y line, so that way it's nice and perfect and parallel. And then I'm going to bring my triangle in and connect those dots that I drew. And make them nice and pretty and as dark as they should be. And I'm just going to turn that over like so. And so when I'm using my ruler and my triangle like I am, then I can be absolutely certain that my lines will be perpendicular with each other. Well, isometrically perpendicular. Okay, now I just need to go ahead and draw a line that is 3/4 of an inch long. 1, 2, 3. 3 grid spaces equals 1/4 or 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to go ahead and measure that right here. Line up that and measure. And then since I'm here, I'm going to measure this part right here. And I think I might be confusing you guys, but I'm doing my best. Isometric drawing especially is not very easy. Okay, so I'm just going to darken these lines in. And then turn this here. And there we go. There's our front view. So if we look at our front view here, we have this rectangle part that is 1, 2, 3, 4 tall and 1 inch wide, or 1/4 space wide. So that's what we have here. We have this little section right there, and it looks pretty easy, or not pretty easy, pretty equal. Okay, this and this look the same. All right, so the front view is done. Now let's move to the side view, which would be from this view. So this is the right side view. Okay, so if we're looking at the right side view, we see that we have some hidden lines, 2 hidden lines, and that we have some solid lines. Okay, so right here, all of this, we are going to draw one big rectangle and then one little rectangle, and then these hidden lines we will not draw in because we'll be able to see them in the 3D. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4 grid spaces wide, which means that it will be an inch deep. So I'm just going to take my ruler, line it up against my z-axis line, and draw in 1 inch, like so. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3 grid spaces tall, so I'm just going to line this up right here and mark to the 3/4 of an inch, which is right here. I'm just putting a dot. Okay, and I'm going to line up my ruler, my number 3. I'm going to line it up on my y-axis, and I'm going to start sliding my triangle so I can draw these lines in nice and perfect. So this connects there, and then if I slide my ruler or my triangle back, I can connect this line to that line. and I have drawn this rectangle here, this 3 by 4 rectangle. And that I'm going to leave right there. And I'm going to start drawing other lines. This is where isometric drawings can get kind of confusing, is that you have to take what you see in 3 flat views and put them together into one solid 3D shape. Okay, so we know that this line was 4 inches deep, or I'm sorry, 4 grid spaces deep, and we know based off our drawing up here that these are 4 grid spaces deep. So I'm going to draw at every corner, or at every intersection, I'm going to draw a line that is 4 grid spaces deep. Okay, but I'm just going to go ahead and draw in some light guidelines. I'm not going to commit to drawing them dark yet, because I still need to measure them. So where there's at every intersection of our lines, I'm just going to go ahead and draw some guidelines, like so. Okay, so these aren't measured. I don't know how wide or how deep they are. I just drew light guidelines. Okay, I can then take my ruler and I can measure that this is supposed to be 1 inch, and I can go along with my guideline and make these 1 inch deep. So 1 inch, line this up right here, make sure that that's nice and perfect. 1 inch, make this perfect. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and my last line right here, this is also 1 inch. Okay, so I'm almost done. I'm going to take my ruler again and line it up along my Y line with my number 3, and I'm going to flip my triangle around so that way I can go ahead and draw and connect and finish these shapes, my shapes that I see here. And there we go. So that is almost done. We just need to add our vertical lines. So again, I just need to go ahead and connect, or I'm leaving my ruler connected to my Y line. I'm going to turn my triangle so I can draw vertical lines. Connect that and connect that. And there we go. This is what number 2 looks like. And I know that it is one of those things that I was like, wait a minute, we only drew like 3 lines and all of a sudden it becomes an object. Yes, that's basically how it works. We draw our overall shapes, okay, that we can clearly identify, which is like our front view and our side view, and then we use our triangle and our ruler, our 30, 60, 90 triangle, which is our best friend. We use that to then draw all of the other shapes. So isometric drawing is relatively, well, it's not easy, but it's also not hard. So if you guys are working on this and you have no idea what you're doing, just take a deep breath and it'll all work out for you at the very end. Don't worry about it. Everything will be okay, and it'll be fine. Okay? If you guys have any questions, you can always ask me. I am going to post a final picture of what all of the shapes look like so you guys aren't freaking out, and I will be here if you guys need me. Okay? Bye, guys.